Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist. I own 52 units of real estate and I help coach people to buy their first multifamily deal. So I asked ChatGPT to ask 10 questions about financial freedom, and I want to answer a few more questions from the series. So the question goes, how does your mindset have to change to go from employee to financially free? So for me, all I knew growing up was, go to school, get a good job, get good grades, get in a good college, get a good job, make money, and that's just kind of the what was kind of instilled in me from my parents, who obviously are in their 70s, the Boomer generation, and I'm a millennial, so that's kind of the what we were kind of sold growing up. And fortunately for me, I did well decently in school, enough to become a pharmacist. And for me, I thought back then making $100,000 a year was a lot of money. That was my perception back then. Obviously not as true today. It's probably what's kind of needed depending where you live. Like, it's not that much. But I want to say, like, W-2 job, especially in the real estate community and the fire movement community, kind of has a little bit of a bad rep, and there's definitely pros and cons to W-2. So let me kind of break those down. So the pros of W-2 is you're guaranteed a paycheck basically every single 2 weeks. So everyone who works at W-2, okay, on Thursday at like 5 p.m., whatever time zone, your paycheck comes in, so you could spend your money, buy something, do whatever. And it's guaranteed money. So regardless if you perform well or do the bare minimum, or you do amazing, you get your paycheck every 2 weeks. We all been there where you're working with this one person who does the bare minimum, and a little discouraging when they get the same raise as you, despite you putting in more effort and more energy into your job. And so that's the pro, right? Like, you're paid just to, like, I call it, cut the fish. Like, the fish is given to you and you just cut the fish as a W-2, and you get your health benefits, you get your 401k, you have sick leave, you have PTO, you have Family Medical Leave Act, you have leave of absence. There's a lot of little perks that you can get working a W-2 job. Your health insurance is subsidized, and it's more, you just kind of go there and do what you're told. But obviously, the downside of this, and this is the cons of W-2, is you're forced to wake up at a certain time every day. You have to report to a boss. You have to do things you may or may not like doing. You have to work with people you may or may not like. You have to play office politics, which can be really annoying, and just really, like, kind of soul sucking to a lot of people, especially those who are in the fire community. And so there's pros and cons, but for me, I really leveraged my income from my W-2 job for the past, like, 12 years to then feel and fund my entrepreneurial spirit and my entrepreneurial bug. So for me, I always kind of wanted more, because I kind of knew that how much money I made from my job was capped. Like, right now, as a pharmacist, the most you could probably make, and assuming you're like the top position at, like, Kaiser, like the chief pharmacy officer, is, I think that they get paid, like, I don't know, $500,000 a year. And there's only, like, maybe one or two of these positions ever. And for someone like me, I'm probably never getting to Kaiser, because you have to know people and work your way up. But for me, excluding Kaiser, the most I could probably ever make is, I would say, realistically, 300,000, or no, 330,000, or maybe 400,000 if I'm at the top of a really big organization. But once again, there's not that many of these jobs. And if I worked as a pharmacist until I was 50, probably can get there. But if I'm on that early retirement track, I'm probably not going to hit that area, and I'm okay with that, right? So for me, I always kind of knew that, I'll try to optimize myself in terms of pharmacy to, like, be in the higher income bracket, but I wanted to spend a lot of my time, all my energy into the kind of the entrepreneurial side that I have. So for me, that's investing in real estate. That's doing my, social media business, coaching business, and other things that I've tried. And because I basically got money from a W-2 paycheck every 2 weeks, I basically took some money, had some margin, and I was able to invest that into, buying single family homes that I house hacked to buying out of state rentals to buying apartment complexes. So I'm leveraging this income to do that. And I never was a huge, at least for me personally, I never did much overtime. And I wasn't much to like do another job because I wanted to spend time and energy either living life or on working on my side business. And what's kind of crazy is like, let's just say my W two, I make like $200,000, right? And then my I gross about 50K a month in real estate income, which comes out to be $600,000 a year. But net after all expenses and debt service, like I'm probably 120K net. Versus a $200,000 job, yeah, you're probably netting about $120,000 as well. So I was able to like double myself without having to, um, work two jobs. And obviously these assets are appreciating over time. I have principal pay down over time, and it's more passive where I have property management, and it took me time to make it more passive. So with a W-2 mentality, like people tie a certain dollar per hour, and that's the most you can make. Like if you make $100 an hour, that's all you ever make. Yes, you can get time and a half, so you make 150 an hour, but there's only 24 hours in a day, and eventually you have to divorce yourself from your time to can I make money in my sleep, right? And that's a big mindset shift I have to make is if I'm sleeping and I work, I'm not making money as a pharmacist, but if I'm sleeping, I'm making money as a real estate investor. I'm sleeping, my YouTube videos are still, if people are watching in the middle of the night, I'm making money. Not much money, but I'm making money. So that's really the mindset I need to like change was, can you make money in your sleep? And if the answer is no, you want to start allocating something so you can make money in your sleep. And, for me at this point, like I said, I built most of my net worth through real estate, through appreciation, but what helped fund my real estate was my W-2 job. So obviously, W-2 job, it caps, like I said, the most I could probably make is like $300,000 a year, which is good money, but I know that's the ceiling. So I kind of know, okay, like I need to like allocate my time, my energy into something that can produce more money than that. Because I kind of know my max, my limit I'm willing to go to. And it's still good money, don't get me wrong, but it's capped, right? So like if you're trying to retire early and do all this, you want to optimize how much money you make. So, and the thing with entrepreneurship is you have to catch your fish. So remember my last analogy in W-2, fish is handed to you, you just chop the fish. So I'm like one duty, I just chop the fish. But when you're an entrepreneur, you have to catch the fish, you have to prepare the fish, then you chop the fish, then you have to sell the fish. So that's why I really don't get it when because I got in the entrepreneur world, it actually made me appreciate my W-2 job more, and I just see how entitled people get. I'm like, dude, like if you own a business and you call it sick, your business is not producing about you. When you call it sick in a W-2 job, I still get paid my full day salary, and my business, my W-2, I get PTO, 3-4 weeks of PTO. For my business, if I have PTO, then my business may not produce any money. So just really shocking to me. Like I always want to like tell W-2 employees like, hey, just try doing your own business and then see how hard it is, and then try it yourself. Nothing's guaranteed. So that's just kind of one question here. So right here, my next question is, what passive income streams are actually worth pursuing in 2025? So once again, I really like real estate as a passive income stream. I know that it's more difficult in 2025 now, obviously with higher interest rates, and sellers are not realistic, and it is shifting towards a buyer's market. I have a video on that, but it's really hard to get sellers to go down because they still want those COVID pricing. They want people to overbid, and it's just a hard pill to swallow. But I think if you're just persistent and you make a lot of offers, and then you specifically negotiate creative financing, and then try to find deals off market, that's where deals can be made. But like you're gonna have to make more offers. Like if you're used to making 100 offers to get a deal, maybe you have to make 300 offers to get the deal, and it's hard to do that work. And even me, I'm like cold texting a lot of listings, asking for creative financing to see if there's something they're into. But the first response is probably gonna be no, I want to straight sell. But they have to be beaten into the fact that they can't straight sell. No one wants to straight buy it. So you have to sell it to me, creative financing, or straight sell at a low ball price. So I still think real estate is a good stream of income for you today. But what I would say is like try to do both. Like try to like increase your W two income, and then as you increase your W two income, keep your lifestyle the same. Invest that difference to go buy some real estate. And even if you get to put like 10% down to house hack, or maybe 20-30% down because interest rates are too high, just strive towards that goal, right? Or you can invest out of state where it's cheaper. Like you can invest in like Huntsville, Alabama, or the Midwest, and these are more cash flow markets. They don't appreciate, but you can get your feet wet in the cash flow markets, and then once you have enough cash flow, you can just sell these properties, 1031 exchange into an appreciation market. So there's many ways to do it. Like Oklahoma City. Well, I don't buy single family homes in Oklahoma City because there's not much appreciation. It's all cash flow. If I buy a single family home for $100,000, it might just appreciate to like $103,000, which is a $3,000 in appreciation, which isn't much. But Oklahoma, like between my 26 unit, I gross 16K, net probably 6K. My 20 unit, I gross about maybe $9,000, and then I maybe net maybe $2,000. Let's just call it after my debt service, after all my payments. But what I probably will do or may consider doing is I just may pay off both those apartment complexes, my 26 unit and my 20 unit, and once they're paid off, basically my cash flow from those, so I had about 8,000, will increase by $5,000 a month. So I'll make $13,000 a month in cash flow from those properties. It'll gross, what did I have, 16 plus 8, that's 24, but it'll gross around $14,000. So 10,000 goes to expenses, and that's enough to like allow me to leave my W2 job. So once I have that stability, I can invest more in markets like California, where it's more of appreciation, because you want to hold these ones in California long term, right? Like all the ones I bought in California appreciated by $500,000. So you want to play cash flow to get out of your rat race, to get out of the W2. But once you're out of the rat race, you're out of the W2, then you can start to invest for long-term wealth, which is appreciation. So there's many ways to do that, and that's what I've kind of seen, and that's why I might progress. Where I'll just buy apartments in Oklahoma for cash flow, and but whatever money I have surplus, I'll invest in areas where it's more appreciation, so that because that's where you make the true money. You want to buy in good areas, and they appreciate over time, right? And who knows? Maybe California hit the top, but who knows? It still might go up because people want to live here. So real estate, I still think is a good passive income stream to go on to. And the last question is, what's the biggest lie the school system teaches about money, and how can we unlearn it? To be honest, the school system was created to make you into a good W2 worker, right? So you have to go to class, you have to show up at a certain time, leave at a certain time. They track your tardies if you're late to school, they track your tardies if you're late to work. If you have sick, you have to call out. So it's kind of a system to train you. But if I'm being honest, I don't really learn much about money from school. Like even when I went from high school to college to pharmacy, even pharmacy school, like we come out making $100,000, $250,000 student debt, and like we had like one lecture about money, and I remember the lecture was really terrible. Like they didn't teach me about like compound interest. They didn't teach me about how to invest in your 401k. They didn't teach me how to invest in my IRA. They didn't teach me how to buy real estate. They didn't teach me how to do my credit score. They didn't teach me how to refinance. They didn't teach me how to do all these things. And not to the school system's fault, but like if you look at it, like 95% of the people are terrible at managing the monies, potentially including school teachers. And it's a taboo topic to talk about money and investing money in schools because, I get it. There's kids in different situations, right? There's kids with rich families. There's kids at the poverty level. So it's a hard topic to teach. So like from my experience, like whatever I learned about money, it was always self-taught. Or if you're lucky enough to have, close friends, close family that showed you the ropes, that's how you did it. But what I love about today is there's YouTube University and podcasts that you can learn a lot for free, that despite having no exposure. And that's how I learned about real estate. I learned about real estate through YouTube and podcasts, multifamily about YouTube and podcasts. And I joined a mentorship and I learned from there. So, while the school system doesn't really teach it and it fails, there's so much information out there on YouTube that you can learn for free. That's what kind of inspired me to like post my content is like, I just want to know what's possible. And I want to know, like I was unaware of this, and you can't take action on something if you're like completely unaware about it. So, So I would say take it into your own hands. Don't depend on the school. Like I said, I didn't learn anything from school. Like I remember when I started my first pharmacist job, I asked someone, "Hey, do you know about a 401k?" And they're like, "What's that?" And they've been working as a pharmacist for like 10 years. And I was just like, "What? You're like, you don't know?" So you really have to be intentional about learning about your basic finances and self teach yourself. And in this day and age, it's easier, more easy than ever to learn this stuff. It's just a matter of implementing it, and choosing what works best for you. So what works best for me is investing in index funds, dollar cost average, broad index funds through Vanguard. What works for me is investing in real estate. So staying in my lane, which is single family homes in California, single family home in Huntsville, Alabama, and apartments in Oklahoma. And I just will only do those three areas. Um, Probably as I focus on more cash flow, I'm probably going to buy more in Oklahoma and Huntsville, Alabama. But once I've hit my fire number, once I've retired, then I'll invest more long term with appreciation. So, anyways, hopefully you found value from this video. Let me know what questions you have. If you want to join my mentorship program, click on my link tree down below. From there, I have links to my courses, my coaching. Also, in the link tree, you can send me an email if you have any questions or if you want a discount code. Otherwise, please like, comment, subscribe, and hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much.